Hello everyone and welcome back to another Crazy Craft Obsession YouTube channel. My name is Cassandra, and if you haven't been here before, make sure you like and subscribe because that really supports me in making these videos for you guys. You can scrap lift them, you can take the techniques that you want from them, learn what you want from them, or just put them on in the background while you're crafting. Today I'm using the Botanical Buzz collection from 49er Market. It is brand new to scrapbook stores and it is gorgeous. If you haven't checked it out, I suggest you do because I'm sure you will fall in love just like I did. I have got a blog post up on our webpage for you to have a look at. It has all of the stuff that I've used linked down below. You can scrap lift off the photo, buy the supplies and completely copy the layout. It does support Australian and New Zealand from the store. But if you're from out of country, you can always support your favourite scrapbook store, which helps them continue bringing you the products. What am I doing in this layout? I have taken a piece of 12x12 white 49er Market cardstock. I've trimmed off 1/2 inch from two edges. Then I've gutted that piece of linen textured pattern paper from the collection, 1 inch from each edge. That allows me to have a 1/4 inch overlap for the tape to stick to on each edge of my pattern paper. Then I have taken my photos, which are of my two boys, my little son and my partner, in the park. It works so well with this collection because it's got all of the leaves and trees in the background, which form those greens and yellows. Then I've mapped out where I'm going to put them on the page with a lead pencil. I'm taking a blending brush and some distress ink in Evergreen Bough and adding it roughly in a couple of places. I'm doing the same here with the Simon Hurley's Stellar Shooting Star ink pad. This is new to the market. It's a foam ink pad. If you haven't used foam ink pads before, I suggest you check them out. A lot of the distress ink pads are felt. Foam just gives a completely different feel and a different way of using the ink pad, and it's amazing. I'm adding that roughly in a couple of different places. Now, I know a lot of you guys are scared of trying mixed media. I really suggest if you haven't tried this technique with the blending brushes, you do. It's such an easy way to get a bulk load of color down on your page without getting overly messy. And it simply adds a layer to your background that you can build upon, which is what we're going to do in this video today. I'm then taking this, I think it's called All About Hexagon stamp from All & Create. I love these sort of stamps. I've got them in each shape. I simply love it. I am then going to prime the stamp, which is what I'm doing by whacking it. It looks really weird because the camera's sped up, but I was just using my oil from my skin to prime the stamp, and that's really important if you haven't used your stamps before because they can have some manufacturing oil on there, which doesn't work well with the ink pads and can stop your stamping from coming through true to the image. You simply need to add some texture from your hands onto this ink pad. There is other different things that you can purchase, but that does just great. I'm not putting it on a block. I just wanted to get a rough image on that one, so I'm slightly curling my stamp on either side, dipping it into my ink pad and putting it tone on tone, roughly yellow on yellow. And I'm going to do the same for the Evergreen Bough. I love how this looks. Again, we're building up on the layers. So even though this is going to blend into the background, the more you look at this layout, the more you're going to see those hexagons and the shapes and the colors and the different tones of the same color, and it's going to be magical. You can see I'm not caring if I get all of the hexagon shapes or some of the hexagon shapes. It really doesn't matter. It's just a distressed background technique. Now I'm going to add some ink to my acrylic block that I've got on the right hand side, add some water to it to water it down, and add some splatters to my page. You might want to put down a splatter box or something similar to do this in. I am just so used to getting mixed media all over my workplace. I'm sure you can see it on my desk everywhere that I didn't worry me particularly. But if you're very particular about your desk, you might want to put something down to catch some of those splatters because they do go a bit chaotic. I'm putting the yellow in yellow, and then I'm going to come in with the Evergreen Bough and do the same. As long as your ink pad is dye-based, you can do this technique, and a lot of them are. I'll go through a few, but The Tim Holtz ones are, even the Distress Oxides, they're a hybrid pigment and water-based, so you can definitely water them down. Simon Hurley's, Ultinew, Catherine Pooler, Pink Fresh, Gina K. There's a lot that are water-based. So as long as it doesn't say pigment-based on it, you're all good to water it down and splatter with it. I'm just going to bring in my Honeybee tool caddy here so you can have a look at how I store my blending brushes while I put them away. I recently added this to my craft room and I honestly cannot tell you how I got on without it. It's the best way to store your tools, except for when I have little hands that come into my craft room and the first thing they navigate to are my blending brushes for some reason. It's Oliver's favourite thing to go for. And I often have to go searching around the house for them when I want to use them now. I am also going to stick this down to the frame. I'm just using my ATG tape. We've had a lot of questions about these ATG tapes recently. The pink dispenser is no longer getting manufactured as far as we know. There is a red dispenser, but we haven't tried it yet to see if it's compatible with the same tapes. But that is as far as we have gotten with information from 3M on that tape dispenser. I'm then taking these gorgeous rub-ons, and 49er Market rub-ons are fantastic quality. They've been doing them for a couple of years now. They're nothing like the old rub-ons. They're just amazing. When I get a new sheet of rub-ons, I do like to add some staplers using my tiny attacher into the top and bottom just to hold that backing piece on. Otherwise your rub-ons will actually stick to stuff and that image will come off on things. So just by adding a couple of staples, it ensures some good quality in your storage while you're not using them. You can see I cut that one in half. My idea here is to add roughly the yellow rub-ons on the yellow section and the teal rub-ons on the teal section. Because that one was being tucked underneath my photo, I didn't worry too much about where it was going to end. I just kind of cut it in half and I'll tuck that edge underneath my photo so it looks like it's continuous, but it's not. And that's a great way to save on supplies. Sneaky, sneaky. But we love sneaky because it saves us money. You can see that I'm burnishing these rub-ons with the applicator that the rub-ons came with. It's just a little plastic tool. You can get special applicators and stuff. I tend to just use the ones that 49er Market have brought out, and they come usually with each pack of rub-ons. I like to turn mine upside down though and not use the pointy end. I find it just gives a better burnishing than what you need. And you can see there I'm slowly picking up my piece of carrier plastic, to make sure that image has transferred, and if it isn't, I just put it back down and burnish it some more. Super easy to put on your layout. This one here's got a little bit of text on it. Again though, we're just building up those layers. So the rub-ons are really going to stand out, and that's what I'm after. You can see how they go along with that hexagon stamp that we added so well. And they're just adding that extra bit of mixed media, extra bit of layering to draw your attention to it and to add some interest to our layout. Super easy. Again, it's a really clean mixed media technique if you don't like to get your hands dirty. Really easy way to add mixed media to your layout. You can use it on different colors. It doesn't have to be a white cardstock background because they're like an acrylic image. They will go over the top of most colors and show up pretty well. Whilst I'm adding the rest of these, and I think there's a couple more that I'm going to add, I'm just going to take the time to talk about this Botanical Buzz collection because there was so much involved in it. You get your pattern papers, you get your rub-ons that I'm using now. There's an ephemera pack with so many pieces of ephemera. I don't know how you're ever going to use them all. A chipboard pack. I think that's probably all that I got in the collection. I limited myself to a little bit, but there's even more. I think there was some words and titles and stuff. If you haven't checked out the collection, make sure you do because it's selling really fast everywhere that I know about it. It's been really popular, and there's some great design team layouts out with it as well. You can see here I've taken some of those smaller hexagons just off the rub-ons and I'm adding them in different places just for a little bit more texture. And then here's my photos coming back on. And you can see how those rub-ons tuck nicely behind my photos. You'd never know that I cut them in half. They work so well. Then I'm going to take out, I've picked through the embellishments and the chipboard, and I've picked out a few different things to use here. I'm going to use a pre-made title from the chipboards called Live in the Moment. And then I'm going to take some of these like honeycomb ephemera. They do have little inserts to them. I'm going to pop out all those inserts and just use the honeycomb because my layout isn't really about bees. We were just sitting down in the local park having a picnic. I'm going to trim this one down. It was way too big for my layout. I want to use it elsewhere. Another way to save money, guys. So I'm trimming it down, and the place where I trimmed it, I'm just going to tuck it behind my photo so you'll never know. Then I'm going to take this little chipboard piece that says smile, sparkle, stay golden. A little reference to honey, but I just loved the way that saying fit in that place there. And I feel like it references a toddler so well. Their personalities just absolutely shine at that toddler age, and it's gorgeous to see them enjoying themselves all the time. I did go to put these stickers up the top here just to add a little bit more texture, and I thought, oh no, I don't really want those there. So I pulled out these puffy stickers. That's another element that you get in this collection. It's new to 49 Market. And you get these gorgeous yellow honeycomb stickers as part of the collection. Before I go much further, I am going to take the time to stick everything down using my new favourite glue, which is the Barely Art glue. I'll tell you why it's my favourite. I used to use Art Glitter Glue, and I still use Art Glitter Glue. It's got its place in my craft room along with Gina K Connect glue. But the Barely Art glue is thicker than the Art Glitter Glue, which means that when you put it on delicate die cuts like this, it doesn't overlap as much. You've got more control in how much you put down. It's still got a fine tip, which I love. And because it doesn't overlap as much, you don't have to worry about what color it dries. But it does actually dry matte clear, so you can't tell if it's overlapped, even if it does. I just love the level of control that you get. And an added bonus is that the refill for it comes in a bear bottle, and that is simply gorgeous. Maybe that's not what you want to add to your craft room, but when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. Everything combined just made me switch to this glue. I'm taking those stickers, I'm just adding a little bit of glue to the back of them because I have noticed over time in the Australian climate, they do lift a little bit. So I don't think there's any harm to adding a little bit of glue behind them. We love these products. We want to keep on continuing these products, but we also want our scrapbook pages to last. A little bit of glue goes a long way. Now I'm going to, so you can see that I've added 3. I've added one to the top, one to the left hand side, and one to the right hand side. In combination with those larger ones, that makes up 5. And an odd number there is perfect for your layout because it draws your eye to the layout. For some reason, the human brain likes things in odd numbers. It's pleasing to the human brain, so therefore we try and incorporate it on our scrapbook pages. I have taken some foam tape and I'm just adding that to the back of my photo with a little bit of glue again and popping that down. And I'll do the same for the other photo, overlapping them slightly so that you get that connection between the two photos so your eye will flow from one photo to the next. And then I'm going to glue down my title as well. You can see that foam tape goes a long way. I love it. Some glue and then flipping around the photo very skillfully to keep that die cut circle on my son's face. And ta-da! Now I did change my title from the top to the bottom. I think it just flows better, and you'll see that I've left a break there in between the die cut hexagon or honeycomb shapes and the rub-ons, and that's where my journaling is going to go off camera. I don't worry about spending the time doing the journaling for you guys because you're more about the art process than the story behind it. And I just find it easier to do it off camera. I am bringing in some sequins. Now I have a bigger than what I would like stash of sequins. I have a problem with collecting sequins. These ones are from Simon Says Stamps, but any teal and yellow sequins will do. And I'm just adding a little bit of glue using my Pink Fresh pickup tool, which needs the beeswax replaced. I pressed a little bit too hard on something and the beeswax doesn't like to cling as much as what it used to. There are replacement tips, I just haven't gotten around to replacing it. But I'm just adding, 3 or 5 sequins in the places where it's missing a little bit of mixed media, and that will finish off my layout and add a little bit of sparkle. If you watch my last layout, you'll see that I've gone a little bit sequin crazy at the moment. I don't know what's triggered that. Maybe I needed a little bit more sparkle in my life. But it's a great way to use up your sequin stash and put a little bit of texture onto your layout. I have got some still photos here. Feel free to scrap lift me and post it in the community page if you've got this collection. There is that blog post you can check out, and make sure you check out the linked videos above because I think you'll like them. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.